Welcome to Morning Vibes with Dr. Jared the First, episode 269. It's Sunday, the 10th day of June, 2018. My name's Dr. Jared the First Oguzie. And the title for this morning is It's Hard to be Persistent, but you can change that. And here is how. Brad Meltzer got 24 rejection letters before becoming a best-selling novelist. I was determined not to struggle, he said. Except he did. We all do. But with Brad, I feel I've never met someone this determined to do what he loves most. When he started writing, he had no idea what he was doing, and he didn't have a plan. He was a law undergraduate, out of fear, that is. And this goes back to his not wanting to struggle thing. But luckily, he quit before he could begin sucking his blood. He started with a story about two kids living in Michigan. Every day, I started to fall in love with talking to those two imaginary people, Brad said. Everyone always tells you to find what you love and then find someone to pay you to do it. I did know what I loved, but I found it in talking to those two imaginary characters. He went to the University of Michigan, so that's where the inspiration comes from. But he's making these characters up. It's sort of a twist on write what you know. It's a new formula. Write what you know and drift off. I was young and stubborn, he said. The week I got my 23rd and 24th rejection letter, I said, if they don't like this book, I'm going to write another. And if they don't like that book, I'm going to write another. And if they don't like that book, I'm going to write another, and so on. I didn't really care. But he cared more about making it than he did about rejection. That's part of it. But I still needed to ask, so what gave you this persistence? I mean, how did you push yourself to continue? And what he said is very interesting. He says, when you have nothing, you fight harder than anybody else. So did you have nothing? I asked. My family had nothing, he replied. I asked him to tell me how. I grew up in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn kicked my father's ass. It just did. It was a mess. My dad, at 39 years of age, lost his job. He had two kids, and then he said, it's the do-over of life. I'm going to start over from scratch. He had only $1,200 to his name, but he had a car. And so we drove down from New York to Florida. And he said, we're going to start over from nothing. So we lived with his grandparents because they didn't have money, as my father and my mother didn't have enough money for a security deposit for a house. And I was one of 6 people living in one-bedroom apartment. I remember my dad's first job interview. He was interviewing for a job at an insurance company. But the interview was in a Wendy's. We used to pretend not to know him. I would sit on the opposite side, watching him be interviewed. And go. My God, my life was being decided in a fast food restaurant. This struggle was going to make him the writer he is today. But Brad didn't know it at that time. I'm a thriller writer, he said. I am looking for that moment where real life just becomes something beyond. He broke down the process. It starts with a need. Everything you do is a need, he said. And I think that my ability to tell a story and observe comes from those needs at that point in my life, he said. I thought it was fascinating to hear him talk about writing as something other than a creative tool. He told me how he used it for control and certainty. sustainability. Even though I love writing and the creativity, he said, there's a part of me that realizes is a need of my own control to offset the chaos. Do you think is that connected? I asked. I do, he replied. As a thriller writer, Brad gets to tell everybody exactly what to do. Every character, every scene, every building, he controls it all. So he gets his first book published. He just kept writing. And then it eventually happened. He kept writing books because he didn't care if they didn't like them. He was young and stubborn. And then he wrote a second book, Dead Even, which became a New York Times bestseller. I needed to find out his secret. How did he go from just getting started, just doing what he loves with zero expectation of success, to becoming New York Times best-selling novelist? Here's what he said. Whatever I do, I throw myself into it. I've learned and mastered it, and then I can write. I can only write about what I feel like I really know. I can't make it up. And so he wrote about the Supreme Court clerks when he was in law school. Then he wrote a second book, which was about a married couple because he got married. I just always write about whatever stage of life I am in, Brad said. He didn't have to study or pay for some professional writing courses. He was in law school, lost, and in need of some other life. So he created it. He found his X factor deep in the chaos of his own life. And here he said that he was determined not to struggle, but that's his own X factor. I guess that's part of why we all pursue different careers and different lives, to find our own X factor. Persistence pays great dividends. So, look for your own X factor, and when you find it, you will naturally flow with the wind to your own Eldorado. Until I come your way again, this is Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First. This program is powered by Topitup Media and Communication Nigeria. All rights reserved. Thank you for listening to this broadcast today. It would please us to no end if you continue to visit our podcast. And so to be able to do that, kindly click on the red subscribe button towards your right to subscribe to our channel. In the same vein, also click on the bell beside the subscribe button so that you can always receive the notification for any new podcast we upload. Also give us a thumb up to like this podcast. These help us to grow. And do help us share the podcast to your friends in the different social media sites you belong to. Click on the share tab just below the podcast and share directly from there. The full text of this podcast is on our blog, and would you want to read it, kindly visit the blog. We have a Facebook page where we also post our podcast on a daily basis. If you're on Facebook, kindly like our Facebook page. The links to our blog and our Facebook page are in the description box right below. Thank you for your attention. Do have a very nice day.